Hello, good evening, everybody. Okay, today I will start this session with the unit 3. Okay, till now we have discussed about all the power plants in detail, like non-renewable and renewable power plants. Okay, renewable power plants, which are about, this solar power plant, solar power plant, wind power plant, biomass, geothermal, and tidal power plants. These all are about renewable power plants. And coming to non-renewable power plants are they are thermal, hydroelectric, nuclear. These three we have discussed in detail as per the syllabus, and right now I am going to start about unit number 3. Okay, which is about transmission and distribution. Okay, what is transmission and distribution? In the last class I have given a bit introduction about transmission and transmission systems. Okay, right, let us start with the third unit, which is about basics of transmission lines, and what are the things which are necessary while we are planning a transmission system, and why transmission is important. Okay, what is the need of transmission? If we are planning a transmission, we are planning transmission of power. So what all measures should be taken? How we should plan transmission? That whole we will deal in this unit. Okay, right, I will start with the first topic of first slide. Okay, electrical energy is an essential ingredient for all the industrial and all round development of the country. All round development of the country. Electrical energy is helpful, or electrical energy will decide the all round development of the country. Okay, it is converted from one form of energy and generated centrally in bulk, then transmitted economically over long distances. Okay, it is converted form of energy. Usually electrical energy, it is not directly available, like wind energy is directly available, sunlight is directly available. In the same manner, we don't have electrical energy directly available. Okay, whatever the household appliances or whatever the industrial appliances which we have designed, they are running on electrical energy, but this electrical energy is not available freely. Okay, okay, it is converted form of energy and generated centrally in bulk, then transmitted economically over long distances. Okay, this energy is transmitted over long distances in bulk, and is generated, and it is transmitted over by seeing economical reasons, we transmit over long distances. Right, next is what are the objectives. What all we will study here is the need of transmission lines, choice of supply systems, which supply system should be taken and why. And next year is relative advantages of DC and AC systems. Okay, why DC systems are preferred and why AC systems are preferred. Okay, what are the advantages of DC and what are the disadvantages? Next, advantages and disadvantages of AC systems. Right, coming to need for transmission line. Why transmission line is required, or why transmission is needed. Right, I will explain this in detail. Generating stations, transmission lines, and distribution systems are the main components of an electrical power system. The generating stations, transmission lines, and distribution systems are the main components of an electrical power system. An electrical power system, the main components of this electrical power system are generation, transmission, and distribution. Generation stations and the distribution station are connected through transmission line. Generating station only generates electrical energy by converting it from any form of energy. Okay, as it is generating the electrical energy. The distribution system, what is distribution system? Distribution system, it will distribute electrical energy to various household applications and industrial applications. Okay, this generation is connected to distribution with the help of transmission systems. Okay, generating stations and distribution systems are connected through transmission lines, which also connect from one grid to another grid. Even from one grid to another grid also, this transmission lines only. Okay, the lines or the conductors which will be passing overhead or underground conductors. Okay, they are only the main source for transmission of electrical energy. Right. Next is electrical power is generated at a voltage of 11 to 25 kilovolts. Okay, electrical power is generated at a voltage of 11 to 25 kilovolts. Okay, the electrical energy whichever we are trying to generate is from 11 kilovolts. Usually generation voltage is 11 kilovolts. Okay, next, which is stepped up to the transmission levels in the range of 66 to 400 kilovolts. The generated energy or the generated electrical energy is just 11 kilovolts. Okay, 11 to 25 kilovolts, but I mean the transmission is taking place at a very higher range. Okay, usually the range of transmission voltage is 66 to 400. 66 kilovolt line, 132 kilovolt line, next to 220 kilovolt line. Okay, and next whatever we require is 400 kilovolt line. Right, next is what is the need of distribution system and transmission lines is, I mean the need of distribution system and transmission line is to transmit the electrical power from generating station to the industry or domestic applications. Okay, why transmission is needed? I mean here power is generated. Okay, power is generated at Kottagudem Thermal Power Station or Srisailam Hydroelectric Power Station or Nagarjuna Sagar Hydroelectric power stations. At these three power stations, power is getting generated. But I need to use or I want to use in my house and in my industry or my workplace. Okay, but these workplaces or this house is very far away from this power plant. So what we need to do, we need to transmit the power. There the power is getting generated. It needs to get transmitted to the place where I want, so that there I can use it for domestic applications or for industries or for farms. Right. Coming to the figure which they are showing as generating station 1, generating station 2, generating station 3. Okay, the three generating stations are of 11 kV capacity or 11 kilovolt capacity. Okay, right. Next is coming to distribution substation A, distribution substation B, distribution substation C, and distribution substation D. Okay, right. Again is a distribution substation G. It says distribution substation E, F, G, H are also there, and the E, F, G, H are between generating station 2. Okay, and between generating station 1 and generating station 3, A, B, C, D distribution substations are there. Okay, and this distribution substation is of capacity 33 kilovolts. Okay, our generating capacity is about 11 kilovolts. Okay, from 11 kilovolts to point A, I mean the transmission voltage is 220 kilovolts. Okay, transmission voltage will be higher. I mean it will be higher than generation voltage and distribution voltage. Why? Because distribution voltage we require only 230 volts. So we will step down for distribution. For transmission, I mean we will step up. Why we need to step up the voltage for transmission? That also I will explain. Okay, right here they have given us 11 kilovolt line. Okay, and distribution is in green color lines, which is 415 volts. Okay, and black lines are transmission, which is 220 kilovolts. Next is A, B, C, D are the transmission substation. Small a, small b, small c, small d are transmitting substations. Right. Next, coming to the next slide, transmitting the electrical power. Okay, how we can transmit the electrical power? Okay, electrical power means whatever the electrical energy we generate, usually it is in the form of AC. Or there are two forms, or there are two types of systems we can tell. One is AC and one is DC. Okay, we are having AC systems, we are also having DC systems. Okay, types of systems are direct current systems and alternating current systems. Right. Coming to types of DC systems. Okay, we have they have classified different types of DC systems. How they have classified DC systems means DC two-wire system, DC two-wire system with midpoint earthed. Next, DC three-wire system. Okay, there are three types of DC systems which are available, which are DC two-wire system with midpoint earthed, and three-wire system. Okay, so these are the three types of DC systems which are available. What are the types of AC systems? Okay, what are the types of AC systems which are available are single phase AC system. Okay, in single phase AC system, we are having single phase 2-wire AC system, single phase 2-wire with midpoint earthed, single phase 3-wire system. Okay, again there are three classifications in single phase AC system. Coming to two-phase AC system. What is two-phase AC system means? We are having two phases. Okay, how many wires we want to connect, it depends on that. Okay, classification of two-phase system will be based on how many wires we are using in the system. Two-phase 3-wire system, two-phase 4-wire system. Next is three-phase AC system. Coming to three-phase AC system, three-phase 3-wire AC system, three-phase 4-wire AC systems. Okay, this is about DC systems and AC systems which are available and how they are classified and what are the pictures or what are the diagrams of the different types of DC systems and AC systems. That is two-phase AC system and three-phase AC system and single-phase AC system. We will see. Right, coming to DC system, it is like DC two-wire system. Suppose this DC means usually in a DC the output is taken, or the DC output is usually generated by using a DC generator. Okay, this DC generator's output, we are having two wires for the DC generator output, which is called as DC two-wire system. See here, Vm is the output voltage which is obtained from the generator. Okay, this generator is having two terminals, one from top and one from bottom, and the two terminals are connected to two wires, so it is called as DC two-wire system. Right, coming to DC two-wire system with midpoint earthed system. Right, we are trying to connect two generators in series. Okay, the end of the upper terminal of the first one and the lower terminal of the bottom generator, both are connected to two wires. Okay, the terminals and the remaining two terminals of the both the generators, they are connected to a single, they are connected, they are interconnected, and they are that interconnected point is earthed, so it is called as DC two-wire with midpoint earthed system. It is DC two-wire with midpoint earthed system. See, whatever the voltage which we are obtaining here, at the output terminals, whatever the voltage which we are obtaining is Vm plus Vm, which is 2 Vm. Last time it was Vm only, now it is 2 Vm. Right, coming to the next point, DC three-wire system with midpoint earthed. Okay, so as we have two generators, okay, what is this? This is a DC three-wire system with midpoint earthed. Okay, there are two generators are interconnected. Okay, and the interconnected part is earthed. Next, the other two terminals or the other two ends of the generator are connected to two wires, and the third wire is connected from the midpoint, which is earthed. Okay, again there are three wires we are trying to use, and even we are trying to earth the part which is interconnected between two generators. Okay, the wire which is used for interconnecting two generators, that wire is earthed. Next is the total voltage of this is 2 Vm. DC three-wire system with midpoint earthed. Right, coming to AC system. Right, again, how many types of AC systems are there, and in them also how many wires are, for how many phases, how many wires we are using. Based on that classification, we will define AC systems also. Right, coming to single phase two-wire system. Single phase means, whatever the wires which are using, that is called as phase. Okay, if suppose single phase, two phase means we will try to use two windings. Single phase means we will try to use only one winding, or one inductor will be there. So this is single phase two-wire system. Single phase means one wire only we are taking, but we are having two terminals, or we are having two wires we need to use. Means across both the ends, across the upper end and the lower end of this wire, if we are using two wires, then it is called as single phase two-wire system. Right, coming to single phase two-wire system with midpoint earthed. Okay, again there are two. This is again single phase two-wire system. Single phase means only we are having one wire. Okay, but we are trying to use two wires. Okay, single phase two wire with midpoint earth. The I mean we are trying to separate that single winding into two parts. Okay, again we are having two wires, one from top and one from bottom. Okay, with midpoint earth, and the middle point of this wire is earth. So this is called a single phase two wire with midpoint earth, and the total voltage here also it is 2 vm. Okay, last time it was single phase two wire system, only two wires were used. Now single phase two wire system with midpoint earth means you are separating, or you are dividing the phase winding into two parts, and the whatever the common part, or whatever the junction part which is there between the two wires, it is earthed, and there are two wires, single phase two wires are connected. So the total voltage is 2 vm. Single phase three wire with midpoint earthed. Okay, what is single phase three wire system with midpoint earth means? Again, this is again single phase. I mean the same last picture. Okay, again we are trying to use three wires here. Okay, one wire is at the top of the at the top part of the wire of the winding. Second wire is at the bottom part of the winding. The third wire, wherever we are trying to take a common point and we are trying to earth it. Okay, from that point we are trying to take this third wire, which is called as single phase three wire with midpoint earthed. Okay, we are trying to earth the midpoint of the two wires which are interconnected. Two phase three wire system. Two phase three wire. Two phase means two windings we need to use. Usually two windings means there will be two wires. Suppose this is one wire, this is one wire. Two windings, one wire and one wire. So usually there will be two wires, but we are trying to use three wires. Means from midpoint also we are trying to take one wire, and we are trying to ground that junction, and we are trying to earth. We are trying to earth or ground that junction. Right. Coming to two phase four wire system. Two phase four wire system means again two phases only, but we need to use four wires. Okay, two phases means only two windings. Okay, these two windings we will try to place each winding, we will try to separate each winding into two parts, and so the two phase windings will be divided into four parts. Okay, and these four parts, each part will have one wire which is called as two phase four wire. Okay, so this is two phase and four wire, and whatever the midpoint it is there, it will be earthed or grounded. Next, three phase three wire system. What is three phase three wire system means? Okay, there are three phases. The three phases means there are three windings. Okay, at the end of the three windings, I mean you will have one wire which is called as three phase three wire, and the center point of the remaining ends, remaining part of the winding, it will be grounded, or it will be earthed. This is called as three phase three wire system. Okay, next, again coming to three phase four wire system. What is this three phase four wire system means? Okay, again you are having three phases means again you are having three phases means three windings. For three windings, I mean the end point of all the three windings will be connected to a common point, and the other three end points will be connected to three wires. Okay, fourth wire will be taken from the center point where all the three ends are getting connected. So it is called as three phase four wire type of connection. Next, let us come to what are the advantages and disadvantages of. So until now we have seen, or we have learned about what all AC and DC types of connections which are available, like single phase connections, two phase two wire, two phase three wire, two phase four wire, three phase with three wire, three phase with four wire, again single phase with two wire, single phase with three wire, again DC also with midpoint or the single phase with two wire. Okay, this is all we have seen till now. Next is what are the advantages of DC transmission and AC transmission. Let us try to understand. Okay, the heading is about advantages of DC transmission. Okay, what is DC transmission means? DC transmission, I think that DC transmission, I mean, if we compare the faults and losses, DC transmission is more advantageous. Okay, I mean, it I mean, complexity of the system will be reduced, and different types of losses and different types of disturbances we can try to reduce in the system. Okay, let us see what are the advantages. Okay, right, it requires only two conductors. Usually single phase or three phase, they require three conductors, or single phase two wire, single phase three wire, like that. But for DC, mostly they require only two conductors. One will be at positive, one conductor will be connected to the positive terminal of the generator, and another conductor will be connected to the negative terminal of the generator. So usually two conductors are sufficient. Like, there are no divisions like three phase DC or single phase DC. So the DC is only one, which is direct current. I mean, you will get a constant output all the time. Okay, to obtain that constant output, or to take output from the DC generator, what we require is, it requires only two conductors. Next is, the next advantage is no inductance and capacitance effect is there. Why? Because in a DC there won't be any frequency. What is frequency? Frequency is number of cycles per second. Okay, DC, I mean, after the voltage, I mean, after the voltage starts generating, okay, I mean, first it will, I think it will rise from 0 to some maximum value, and it will stay at maximum value all the time. So there won't be any change in frequency. Means number of cycles changing, nothing will be there. Once the maximum point of the DC will get attained, it will remain constant all the time. So there is no frequency component in DC. As there is no frequency component in DC, the inductive reactance XL will be 2 pi FL. That means in place of F you are substituting 0, then your inductive reactance will become 0. Coming to your capacitive reactance, Xc will be equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc, where frequency will be equal to 0, means 1 by 0, it will be infinity. Okay, inductive reactance will be 0, means for a DC, in a DC, inductor acts as short circuit, and Xc is equals to infinite, means for a DC, capacitor should act as an open circuit. So even if you have inductor and capacitor connected in the system, inductor will act as a short circuit, means normally how the current flows, I mean, similarly the current flows through that inductor. Coming to the capacitor, no current will flow through the capacitor. Why? Because it behaves as open circuit. So there is no inductance and capacitance effect if we are using a DC transmission system. Right. Next is no phase displacement and surge problem. What is phase displacement? Means our power factor will depend upon the phase displacement. Okay. As in AC, we study that the angle between the voltage and current is important. Okay. Either current leads the voltage or lags the voltage depending on the type of load. Okay, so we need to rectify the power factor, or we need to bring the power factor nearer to unity. Here what it happens is, whenever you apply voltage and there is a closed path, then only current will flow. For an inductor also the same thing happens, for a capacitor also the same thing happens. Means inductor and capacitor, I mean, for a DC system will feel that there is no inductor and capacitor in the circuit. Okay, so as there are no inductors and capacitors in a DC system, what happens is either current will not lag the voltage or current will not lead the voltage. Means current will always be in phase with the voltage. So there is no phase displacement between the voltage and current. Always current and voltage are in one phase. If voltage comes like this, current also will come like this only. Hardly you will have, I think you will have difference in magnitude. Okay, but there won't be any difference in starting time of voltage and starting time of current. Okay, provided the system should be closed circuit. I mean, current also passes the same as voltage. So as there is no phase displacement, and surge problems also will not be there. Why surge problems will come means, Surges means sudden rush in voltage, or due to some distortions. Okay, due to some distortions or due to some harmonics. Okay, what happens is the voltage level, I mean introduction of third harmonic or fifth harmonic in the system, it will cause peaky voltage waveforms. Okay, the voltage waveform might become peaky, or the current waveform might become peaky. So here, as we are not having such problems because of absence of inductor and capacitor in a DC, so many types of surge problems and phase displacement will not be there. Okay, right. Coming to no skin effect and less corona loss. What is skin effect means? For an AC current, the current in an AC current or for an AC supply, I mean whatever the current which is flowing through this conductor, suppose that current is flowing through this conductor, I mean the current flowing through this conductor will try to link through with the surface of the conductor only. Okay, the current which is flowing through the conductor, it will try to flow only on the surface of the conductor. This happens in AC current. Okay, with this what it happens is the surface of the conductor, I mean suppose that this is the conductor, this is the surface of the conductor, only the surface of the conductor will get heated, the remaining part of the conductor will not get heated. So this phenomenon is called as skin effect. Okay, because of this skin effect, what happens is the surface area of the conductor might get heated up excessively, and there is a chances of uneven heating of the conductor. Means here heat energy will be more. Okay, or here heat loss will be there. Here there won't be any heat loss. Means I mean hotspots, local hotspots, there are chances that local hotspots can be formed. And because of this, what happens is the surface of the conductor might get damaged, or it might get melted easily because of this skin effect. Okay, this happens in AC supply. As we are speaking about DC supply, in this whatever the current which flows through the conductor in a DC system, it will flow through the conductor only. It will not try to link through the surface. So there is no skin effect. Even corona loss is also there in DC, but compared to AC, as in AC, I mean, as AC current tries to link with the surface, and I mean, whatever the AC transmission lines, whatever are there, they will try to interact. With the nearby moisture particles of the air, like that, it will be there. So even for AC, as our AC is transmitted for high voltages also, as we have 400 kilovolt transmission lines, when we have 765 kilovolts of transmission lines, as we are transmitting AC at a very higher voltage, what happens is, even at higher voltages, what happens is the particles or the air molecules which are surrounding the conductor, or which are surrounding our transmission line, they will get they will get ionized. And there are chances that, I mean, there will be some, I mean, small amount of sparks will arise. Will arise at the ends of this transmission line. Okay, this sparks sometime they might cause a greater loss. Okay, I mean, if the spark turns into a bigger one, or if any explosive material is in and around that place, there is a chance that this spark might explode. So this type of effect is called as corona. Okay, even our DC transmission is also not done at very high voltages like AC transmission. Why? Because for AC transmission, the thing is, first thing, we are getting 11 kilovolts generation for AC. Next thing is, as we are having a transformer, we are able to step up the voltage to a very higher voltage. As we are able to step up the voltage to a very higher level, what happens is, the particles or the molecules which are around this conductor material, they will also get ionized, and there is a chance that exchange of electrons, I mean flow of current or minute amount of currents also might flow from this conductor to this air particles based on the ionization voltage. So even compared to AC, DC levels of transmission are very less. So that is the reason that So that is the reason that corona loss is also very less for DC transmission. Whereas for AC transmission, corona loss is very high. Okay, I mean we have very high amount of loss we face for corona. In if we are if we are doing AC transmission, the same corona loss will be higher, but for DC transmission we will have less amount of corona loss. Next is reduced interference with communicating circuits. Okay, communicating circuits, if suppose that around our transmission line, around our electrical line, if suppose that there is any communication line like BSNL or communication based lines, if they are passing, or if the communication circuit is nearer to our electrical circuit, what happens is these communication circuit or these communication frequencies will be different from our frequency. Our frequency is standard and it will be 50 hertz. Okay, all our generating units will generate at 50 hertz frequency, and they will be given to the grid at the same frequency. Okay, but what will happen with these communicating circuits is these communicating circuits will have frequency other than 50 hertz. Usually communication will take place at a very high frequencies. Okay, it will be usually in kilohertz or megahertz. As the frequency of this communicating circuits is very high, what happens is, as this electrical circuit is nearer to communication circuit, there is a chance that there might be interference because of the difference in frequencies. There might be interference between communication circuit and our electrical circuit. Because of this interference also, in our system, disturbances or noise, okay, surges, okay, I mean peak voltages might arise because of this interference. So as in our DC system, we are not having frequency, whatever may be the frequency of that communication circuit. As we are not having any frequency for our DC circuit, there won't be any change in frequencies, or there won't be any introduction of harmonics, or there won't be any interference or surges, anything. I mean, we will have less amount of interference. Even if the interference is there, it is very less compared to AC transmission. Next is potential stress on the insulation is less. Okay, whatever the insulation or whatever the discs which we use for, I mean, which we shell type of insulator, uh, whatever the disc type of insulators which we use for high voltage transmission, what happens for AC is, I mean, the disc which is far away, it will face less potential stress, and the disc which is nearer, it will face very high uh, uh, it will face very high potential stress. Why? Because between I mean, there will be distance between the first disk and the last disk. Whatever the distance it will be there, I mean, because of the distance between the disk. Okay, the distance between the discs, it is taken I mean, it is accounted as stray capacitance. Okay, stray capacitance plays an important role when we are studying about the insulation of the uh, this insulation of the system, or potential stress which the insulating disk faces. If we are studying that, then uh, then this Mm, then the stray capacitance will play a role. Okay, what happens if stray capacitance is more? Okay, I mean, the distance between the discs will be larger. Means what happens is, f- uh, first first disk will face a heavy potential stress, and the last disk will face a less potential stress. Okay, why? Because this stray current also will change from first disk to last disk. I will be V by XC, right? So as XC changes, why XC changes? Why? Because there is, I mean, the distance between the disks is increasing, means again the stray capacitance also changes. As the stray capacitance changes, XC or capacitive reactance also changes. As this capacitive reactance changes, and the current or the stray current which is passing from first disk to last disk also changes. So the potential stress on the insulation material also changes. Okay, coming for DC insulation, you won't have as here inductance and capacitance. I mean, effect of inductance and here capacitance acts as open circuit, right? And we are not having any component of frequency, or the frequency is zero. Here, what happens is potential stress on the on the insulating discs also will be less compared to that of AC transmission. Right, loss due to charging current is eliminated. Okay, what is charging current is here, if we are taking underground, if you are taking underground cables, okay, whatever the distance between the underground cables as compared to overhead